Alrighty. Jeff Duggins here with H2O Designs. We are doing another live video. If you haven't noticed, we're kind of doing our seminars on a live platform instead of having people try to work around their schedules to come to the store. So here with my lovely assistant, Rachel. We're going to go over fall maintenance and winter maintenance today. So stick with this. We're going to go through a lot of different stuff today. Try to get through this in 15-20 minutes so it's not too awful long, but there's a lot of stuff to show. So we're going to start off with the obvious right now. 75-degree weather.
Yeah, doesn't feel like fall.
Doesn't feel like fall at all, but leaves will soon be falling. Apologize for the road traffic, guys. We're at our garden center here in Nicholasville, Kentucky. Obviously, we're right on the road. There's going to be trucks coming in and out and probably people loading mulch and stuff, so we'll just have to work through all that. And right on cue, here comes a truck through. So anyway, let's start off with fall pond netting. We've got not too many calls so far for pond netting.
No, the leaves haven't started to fall yet.
Right, so we have maybe 20 or 30 calls in for netting. We usually do a couple 100, a little over 100, so less than 20% of our customers have called in. But now is the time to do it. Now's the time to be thinking about doing the net frame if you're going to do it. And I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. Our pond netting that we use, notice it's not real small. We have some smaller netting available if you want that, but it's real flexible and real easy to use. What we do is we take these, notice the poles going across, hooped over the top. What that does is that keeps the leaves when it rains and blows on there. Normally, otherwise, if we didn't have this hooping action going on here, if the net was just stretched tight across, the leaves would sink down into the pond and potentially kill the fish. That's right. So we want to make sure you get a nice frame up. Larger ponds are a little bit more difficult, obviously, with smaller ponds. Kind of give you an idea how we do this. We have just little metal rods here you buy at your local hardware store or Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. We drive these into the ground like this. Side note, watch for, make sure you're not driving in the ground where your plumbing's running into your wiring, so make sure you're not hitting anything. And you can see these poles just sort of slide down on top of these once they're in the ground. It sticks out of the ground about this far. Creates a nice hooping action with that. Keeps the net off the ground. Nets serve a lot of different purposes for your pond. The obvious purpose is it keeps leaves out of your pond. Let's switch gears here a little bit. On this pond, which is our display pond, notice we just have a rock holding this down on this side. We have some pins around. We have a skimmer and a frog. Cool. And a frog. There goes the frog. So what the skimmer does, and you can kind of see here, oh, there he went. If I stir that up a little bit, skims the leaves into the skimmer here. And you know, if you don't have a lot of leaves, it's a small amount. Like right here, we will not have a lot of leaves. If this was in a homeowner's backyard, we probably wouldn't net this pond just for leaves. But if you have a skimmer on your pond, that's a great way to keep leaves out if you don't have too many trees. If you have a bunch of trees, that skimmer is going to get overwhelmed quickly in a fall rain or whatever with that. So we do the nets, and another great benefit of the nets. What's another benefit of the nets?
Keeps herring away.
Keeps the herring away. That's right. That's right. So once you trim the plants back in your pond, you can see we've already trimmed the lilies back. Some of the plants are trimmed away, ready for fall.
How far do you trim them back? I get that question in the store.
You get that, store. You can see here the lilies. We've trimmed the petals off the lilies, and if you do it this time of year, you can see these have already grown back since we've netted this. So you may have to do it again before it gets cold. One of the advantages of netting and doing this type of thing now is obviously the water isn't cold. It's not freezing your hands off waiting until it's 30 degrees outside doing the net. So anyway, answer your question, Rachel. About an inch above the water, you can see here we've trimmed these back. These were nice, beautiful plants. If you're netting your pond this time of year and you don't want to trim the pond plants back, that's fine. Leave them up, leave them tall. You can see your net's high enough to keep them growing. And then go in for Thanksgiving, whenever the starts getting cool, and trim them back. Definitely trim them back before they get to dying and go into wintertime. So, Rachel mentioned protection from the herring. When you trim all your foliage back in your pond, your fish are very exposed. So any bird or any raccoon or heron or anything flying over can see the fish really well. And if they can see them really well, they're going to eat them. So, yeah. So we always recommend that if you have a herring problem in your area, or you've seen a heron flying around, and maybe he didn't bother your pond, it's probably because they didn't see your fish. Now you can see your fish really well. So you might want to consider the net. Since we're on decoys, we'll show a couple other options. Predator control. This is a heron decoy. Real fake looking heron. I've had customers say that they absolutely don't work. I've had customers that swear by them. The trick, go ahead. No, you did.
You have to move it.
You have to move it.
The
So,
bird won't think it's alive if it stays in one spot.
so if I set it here, how many days?
Probably only one. I would
One?
move it every day.
So you're out your pond, move the heron around so it looks like it's alive. I guess the birds are dumb enough that they think that this is a real heron, right? Again, I have customers that swear by them. If you're having problems with this falling over, like so, then you can do one or two things. You can take a set of rock on the feet, or that comes with a little, nice little pole here. You can stick it in the ground, stick it on this little hole over there. Is that right? Couldn't think of a better word. Anyway, this works really well for some people. Some people will tell you that absolutely doesn't work. Another decoy we have is what Rachel has there. I'll let you explain that.
This is floating alligator, so you just put it in. Nice thing about it, it's easy. You just sit it in the pond and it floats, so it's moving on its own. So it's gonna potentially scare the bird away as it's moving. They don't typically want to land on the alligator. So.
And you could have an alligator in your pond.
And you could have an alligator in your pond.
In
So it's
Kentucky.
kinda cool. In Kentucky.
And it won't eat your dog either.
Yeah.
Or you. So again, we first got those in. I was like, nobody's on it. That's not gonna do.
We've sold several though.
So several have people, customers swear by them.
Yeah, customers.
And it's cool. You have an alligator in your pond.
True.
It's cooler than that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Something on me there. All right. Let's go. Let's back up a little bit and let's talk about whether or not you should clean your pond in the fall versus the spring. We get that question a lot. Here's a rule of thumb. Same thing as in the springtime. If your pond looks dirty, it probably needs to be cleaned. Why should we clean the pond in the fall?
So that debris doesn't sit there all winter and collect.
Right.
Create more debris and more sludge for your clean out. Makes it clean out easier in the spring.
Makes the clean out easier in spring. Potentially, you wouldn't even have to clean your pond in spring. You clean. We have a lot of customers that do fall cleanouts versus spring cleanouts. We have customers that do 2 a year, depending on your fish load. This pond, we had a really heavy fish load in it earlier in the year as we were moving fish around and stuff. So it's pretty dirty. If you want to come over here close, Hannah, I will kind of show the broomstick test. I show you this in the spring of the year a lot. This is what I call, and again, if you're on a patio and you can't put the spikes in for the net, this is a great way to hold the net down. Just little rocks wrapped around it. So what I'm going to do is, you can zoom in right here. Notice all the algae and debris and stuff on the pond. The water's crystal clear, but this debris, as I stir it up there, see all that sludge and debris? Notice how black it is? That's actually the beneficial bacteria breaking down the fish waste and sludge. And that's going to become, as the pond cools down and as the ecosystem slows down, your bacteria stops working as well. So it stops breaking that stuff down. What happens is when you get a warm day in January, which we get all the time around here, we'll have a cold spell and then a warmer day. As that, what the bacteria, the debris, the sludge and stuff's in there, the ecosystem will kind of wake up a little bit, and that's going to create more sludge and debris. Then when it gets cold again and say it freezes solid, we'll go over the aeration and how to keep a hole in the ice later. When it freezes solid, those gases that are being released by that organic activity is going to build up and create ammonia. And actually, when your pond thaws, you'll look outside and there's no fish. They're all floating at the top, frozen in the ice. So, again, very important. If your pond's dirty in the fall, go ahead and get it cleaned out. You could potentially not have to do a clean out in the spring and just go into a fall clean out of sorts. And it's getting really noisy here, isn't it?
A little bit.
Oh well, can't stop doing business, right? All right, so pond's dirty, clean it. If it's not dirty, put the net on it if you need one. Even if you don't have leaves around, net's a good idea. Okay, what's next? You want to go over aeration and bubblers?
Maybe feeding your fish.
Feed fish? You want to do fish food? Do fish food.
And
We'll let Rachel do this one.
some things to keep in mind is when the water temperature gets below 55 degrees, you want to make sure you're feeding your fish food that they can process. Their bodies start to slow down. So a good idea is to have a thermometer so you know what your water temperature is. having cold water fish food on hand to feed them until it gets to the point where you no longer want to feed them. When the water temperature gets below 50 degrees, you don't want to feed them anymore.
Right.
So those are two handy things to keep in mind. Pond detox is another good thing that's a good thing to have on hand in the fall.
Detox.
So those are things that you might want to think about stopping in and getting.
So how do you tell if the water temperature is 50 degrees or not? You don't just stick your hand down in there? Okay. I've seen people do that. Have you seen people do that? They'll take their hand and stick it in here and stick it in another and see what, yeah, it's crazy. Get a thermometer. They're $6, $7, whatever they are. They're not much. Handy to have. Always good to know what your water temperature is, especially during the year. So, we talked about pond netting. We talked about trimming the plants back. How to tell if your pond needs a clean out or not. And if you do have a lot of sludge in your pond and you decide not to do a clean out, you don't want to fool with it, the budget doesn't have it into there this year to do a fall clean out for us to do it, get some sludge reducing bacteria. We have some pellets, we have the bacteria. Run that pretty heavy through the next couple of months while it's warm, and that's going to help knock down that sludge. And if you're having a lot of debris and stuff on the pond like we do here, we would have done a clean out on this pond already, but we wanted to save it for the seminar, obviously. So make sure your fish are healthy and going into the winter. Another thing too that we didn't recommend is the reason why we do cold water fish food, and the reason why we recommend feeding the fish all the way up to the end, is your fish are going to go dormant and they're going to go 2 to 3 months without having any food. So you want to fatten them up, if you will, for the winter. Kind of like a bear, right? They hibernate in the winter, so they're not going to eat a whole lot. You're not going to feed them during the winter, so you want to make sure they have a good build-up of food and food for the winter. Loud motorcycles. Good day for motorcycles, right? All right, let's talk about how to keep. Let's talk about keeping fish safe. You want to absolutely hold that. You want to keep a hole in the ice. There's several ways that you can do that. What?
Can I back you up a minute?
Yeah.
What about people who want to turn the pond off?
Pardon?
That kind of goes into this a little bit.
Okay.
People who want to turn the pond to the warm.
So there's two options on how to prepare your pond for wintertime. The first is obviously to turn your pond off. Place, are we good over there? Okay. Looked like we were having technical difficulties. So you can run your pond all year long, which a lot of our customers do. Notice on the sides of our ponds, when we build a pond, we want to have about 6 inches of depth in the stream. The reason for that is when it gets cold, the ice is going to build up on top of the stream. The water is going to run underneath. The colder it gets, the longer it's cold for, the more ice it builds up. So it could dam the stream up and cause it to leak. I see a lot of waterfalls around. We do a lot of service work on ponds we didn't build, and there's really only like 1 inch or 2 of area on the side of the stream. Well, that's going to leak as soon as it freezes. It's really going to get close and leak with that. So you're going to need to do some things to prevent that. One of the things you can do is just shut your pond off. If you do, the benefit of leaving the pond running in the winter is notice when this water's coming in and splashing up there, you're keeping a hole in the ice and keeping the water aerated. Okay? The stream's doing that for you. If you turn it off, you got to keep a hole in the ice. Why do you keep a hole in the ice? We already
So the gases can escape so that your fish
kind of touched on that.
doesn't kill your fish.
Exactly. So the gases build up, and believe me, I have customers say, shut my pond off every year. I don't use a de-icer. I don't use a bubbler. My fish are fine. Happens. I say you're getting lucky, because eventually, if you have enough debris and sludge in the bottom and your pond is frozen solid enough, you're going to lose your fish. It's just a matter of time. You're flirting with fish death. You like that? So there's a couple different ways you can keep a hole in your ice. One is what Rachel's holding there, which is a
It is an Aquajet
600.
600.
Yeah, which is plenty big enough. There's big ones, yeah. What does this do?
It's a fountain pump, so you put it in the bottom and it keeps the water flowing.
Right.
Keep a hole in the ice and keep variation.
Awesome. So we sell
Whiz.
pop quiz. What is that? Never mind. So put this in the bottom. It has put this heater down for a minute. Has sections so you can make it as tall as you need to, and you can buy more of these sections if you need to go taller. We set it down in the pond. We try to put the last section somewhere between here out of the pond. It's going to shoot water up, bubble it, and that's going to keep a hole in the ice for you. She's laughing at me. So anyway, another benefit to this is you can use it in the winter to keep a hole in the ice, but also in the summertime, if you want another fountain feature in your pond, you just take these sections off, put a nice little fountain head on here, and you have a nice water feature for your pond. It's especially useful for ponds that do not have waterfalls.
Yes.
Now I know a lot of y'all may say, well, why would you have a pond without a waterfall? I agree. However, there's a lot of ponds out there. A lot of people have ponds that just have a fountain in the middle, maybe don't have quite a large waterfall or whatever, but this is a great dual purpose, inexpensive solution for keeping your fish safe and giving a nice decorative look to you. The second thing you can do is you can put a de-icer in your pond. Now if you put a de-icer in your pond only and turn the waterfalls off, this is not going to create any oxygen for you. So you want to get some oxygen in the pond in the wintertime. You don't want to just sit there. So you'll need to do this in combination with maybe your bubbler, or I'll show you the aerator. We're going to the aerators here in a minute. What this does, sits in the pond, it is not a pond heater. No, you cannot heat all of this water. You can heat it, but it's not economical to heat all the water at all. So what this is an Aquascape brand heater. Sits in the pond. It has a little green and red light on it. It kicks on and off, so it doesn't run all the time. It has a thermostat in it, so it's not using that much electricity, and it keeps a ring. You can go to our website, look at the winter maintenance page, and see examples of this. See a video on this. Probably I wouldn't say a better video. I think our videos are great. A manufacturer video on the on the de-icer. Okay, so this is there, and there's several different models of this. This one comes with a 3-year warranty, which most come with a 1-year warranty. It's just a little bit better quality heater, in our opinion, than what's a lot of the stuff you can get a little bit cheaper out there. All right, so we talked about the heaters. Now, aeration. Come over here, Hannah. See the bubbles in the pond? Okay, that is a pond aerator running, and it helps. What that does is it turns over the water in that area. So if you have a dead spot in your pond, they're great to have with the in the little dead areas of your pond. Notice we got them kind of sitting in the corner here. That is a consumer grade aeration system, which is great for summertime aeration. That is not necessarily going to be enough to keep a hole in your pond. So if you're going to do a de-icer, you're going to leave your waterfall running, or you're going to do a bubbler, then this is a great accent to your existing solution for keeping a hole in your ice. But if you're just going to use an aerator, a lot of people will just use an aerator to keep a hole in their ice. If you're going to use one of these, put the aeration stones all together so you get more turnover in one area, or upgrade to a professional series. And I got to this right here. So this is the disc that comes with the consumer grade aeration. It's a consumer grade because it's an economical solution. They're under $100 for the aeration system, so it's a really good solution if you're on a budget. This is the disc for the professional series aeration disc. You can see the surface area alone. You have this surface area here versus all of this. So just from the looks of the plates, you can tell that this is going to put out a lot more air. This is going to actually make the water rumble. So in a small pond like this, we probably wouldn't recommend using the Pro Series aeration, just because the fountain option is going to be a little bit less expensive solution. It's going to do just as good a job. But in a larger, deeper pond, these are awesome to keep a hole in especially if you're going to shut your waterfall down. So again, know what you're buying. Obviously, you're going to pay more for the professional grade aeration. Not sure what the price of them is. They're a little bit more expensive. Not, oh my God, more expensive, just a little bit more expensive. But know what you're buying, know what you're paying for. And in the pond industry, what I've found is generally you get what you pay for. If you're going to pay more for a product, you're going to get a better warranty, better solution, better whatever with that. Another option while we're talking about keeping a hole in the pond, or keeping a hole in the ice, I should say, not a hole in the pond.
Yeah,
you don't want holes in the
pond.
Okay, this is a waterfall pump. This is the pump that's in here running this waterfall. This pump comes with this little gadget you see here. That's for hooking different types of pipe on. Or most waterfall pumps come standard with an 1.5 or 2 inch outlet on the waterfall. So what you can do is you can get a standard piece of PVC pipe, take this or whatever, take your existing waterfall pump, drop it down in the pond. Again, this is going to sit probably, if I put it in this pond, it's going to sit about this far below the water. But it's such a big pump that it's going to create a rolling effect on the water, and it's going to keep that water moving so that it does not freeze. So if you don't have the budget to buy another pump, another aerator, or heater, or anything like that, just take your pump out, go to the local hardware store, get you a piece of PVC pipe that's going to put the pipe right underneath the water or just above the water, even better, and use your waterfall pump to keep a hole in ice. Great economical way to do that. A lot of people think that they can't do that. It's simple plumbing. If you don't want to do it, we can come do it for you, charge you a service call. It's not a big deal with that. Okay, one thing I forgot. Rocks. What do rocks have to do with fall maintenance? Fake rocks. It's a nice looking fake rock too.
It is a nice.
Right. Pop quiz.
Oh,
Why would you ever buy a rock?
a fake rock?
Yeah.
To cover something up you didn't want seen?
Yes. With your aerators, if you do buy a pond aerator, we use them a lot for your aerators. Most of the time you cannot get your aerator in a dry space. On the bottom of these is a diaphragm where it sucks sucks the air in. If you set these right on the ground outside your pond when it rains, it's going to suck water up into your aerator and ruin it. So what we recommend doing is putting a rock underneath of it so it sets off the ground, and then put a fake rock over top of it. If you don't want to buy a fake rock, a bucket, anything like that will work. A lot of motorcycles out today. We need to look at doing this at a customer's house next time.
Yeah.
We'll do that. All right. So again, you just want to keep it protected from the weather because they will, over winter's time, you will lose your aerator if you leave it out in the elements. So make sure you cover it with a bucket, with a rock, with something. And keep it elevated off. Don't sit it right on the ground where water's going to come through it. Most of the time when you're around a waterfall like we are here, you have hills and stuff where the water rushes down through that. Alrighty. We've talked about fish food. We talked about aeration. We talked about keeping a hole in ice, running things. What's left?
You have gloves.
What? Gloves. We'll save that for last. That's cold.
That's last.
Yes.
That's for cold.
Yeah, those are the cool things. All right, so let's go over a couple more things. Merry Christmas. We're not really going to take these out of the box because they're not much more to see than what is shown on the box. If you have a filter that looks something like this, or like this, or any type of thing that sits outside the pond and water runs through it to filter your pond, you can set that down there. Anything, any type of filter you have outside of the pond water that your pipe is running through, filtering the water and running up to the waterfall or whatever, these have to be removed in the winter. They will freeze and crack, break, whatever, and that will not be covered under warranty. I don't care what manufacturer you have. So make sure that if you have a filter, if you just bought a house this summer, which we have a lot of customers that call us,
When they buy the house.
if you don't know what's going on with your pond, call us. We'll come out, go through your pond system with you, tell you what needs to be taken out, tell you what needs to be, what can stay, what you need, whatever. And we do charge a fee for that service. However, if you buy anything from us or you hire us to do anything for your pond, it's a deposit. So for a $100 service pond profile fee, you could save yourself $200 or $300. This is $200 filter. This is a $300 filter. Save yourself a lot of money going forward, and you get the knowledge of 13 years in business that we have. So if you bought a new pond, let us know. We'll be happy to help with it. Send us pictures. If you don't want to have us out and pay the consultation fee, email us pictures. We'll email you back, no charge. Okay. Anything that's outside of your pond, it looks like a filter, needs to be removed, it will freeze and crack. 100% sure.
We didn't talk about the auto dosers.
Auto dosers.
We don't
Yes.
have one out here, but those two have.
That's fine. If you have an automatic dosing system, we do have one over here in the big rock, but I'm not going to fool it. Automatic dosing, if you have one, you'll know you have it. It's what we sell in the springtime and all summer long to put the water treatments in. Those have to be removed. The pumping system inside of them will freeze, crack, and you'll ruin your auto doser. So you have to pull those in. If you don't know if you have an auto doser, call us and ask us. If it's sitting outside your pond and it looks like it has like little digital readouts or whatever,
Probably.
yeah, probably needs to be removed. Okay. We talked about feeding the fish.
Yes.
Ready for winter maintenance?
I think so.
I think so.
We covered everything.
I think we have. Oh, no we didn't.
I mean,
The net. The most important thing. If you don't have one of these, get one. You will need it. Even if you're putting net over your pond, you're still going to get some little stuff that falls through. You can pull your net up, dip it out. It's very important. Because if you don't, you're going to be sticking your hands down in the pond and get it out. And that's cold in December. Mucho frío. Okay, so some type of pond net, make sure you have one. Last but definitely not least, we didn't talk about string algae. In the wintertime, you will get string algae. It will happen, especially here in Kentucky where we have warm and cold periods. You can eco-blast your pond. If you know what eco-blast, look it up. It's on our website. We have a whole page dedicated to string algae. It's a powder you sprinkle on the algae. It releases it from the rocks and you can clean it off. But you will have to do some type of maintenance on your pond inevitably in January, February. So make sure you have some eco-blast with that. We run our maintenance services for a lot of customers all winter long just for that reason, so we can take care of the string algae and keep care of things versus leaving it for spring and then your pond's a mess. And we forgot something. Cold water beneficial bacteria. I mentioned the sludge cleaner. Switch to cold water bacteria in, say, November timeline. Use it through Christmas. It's going to help keep breaking down the sludge and debris, same as your sludge cleaner is, and help keep your pond healthy for the winter and also make the clean out easier to do in the springtime. Well, I'm just remembering all kinds of stuff we forgot. Filters. If you have a skimmer, if you have an ecosystem pond that we installed or any other contractor installed or you installed yourself, you're going to have a skimmer filter and you have a biofalls filter, which is where the waterfalls is. If you have a waterfall filter at the top, 90% sure you have filter media in there. Take it out, shut your waterfall off, you'll have lava rock, bioballs, some type of filter media in there, and chances are you'll have some type of filter pad. Get a bucket of pond water, 5-gallon bucket, rinse those bioballs off, rinse the lava rock off. If you have lava rock, get with the times. Get rid of the lava rock and buy some bioballs. They're 20 bucks, 30 bucks. Plastic balls, a lot easier to lighter. If you don't do it and you hurt your back pulling the lava rock out of the thing, I told you so. Rid of the lava rock, get some plastic filter media like our bioballs that are easier to clean. Pretty simple. Anyway, you're going to want to clean that filter media out and get it ready for winter. Why do we recommend doing it in a bucket of water versus just taking a water hose and spraying it off?
Because you don't want to kill the bacteria that's there.
Right, because you want to kill the bacteria there. If you spray water out of your water hose on the filter media, you're going to kill some amount of that bacteria. Your water coming out of the tap has chlorine in it. You'll still have to spray your filter pads off with the water hose. You're not going to be able to dip it in a bucket of water. It's a pain to do that. But definitely your bioballs or filter meters, slosh those around in the 5-gallon bucket, spray off your filter pads, you're ready to go for winter. Recommend doing that now versus waiting until November because simple reason is if you put it back in there now with the warmer weather, that beneficial bacteria is going to have a chance to reseed itself and get going again. I'm sitting here holding his gloves like a dummy. Warm gloves. These are basic yellow pond gloves, $24. They're awesome. They'll keep your hands warm if you go to put your hands down in the water. You have to get some leaves or debris out, wash with your skimmer or pump, whatever. At least keep these on hand. I love these gloves. They're called Glacier gloves. We have them for sale here in the store. You can honestly get them online. I think we have them just as cheap online. Here's the same price. They are about, I don't know how much these things are. 30 bucks, $44, $45. They're a neoprene glove. They're completely dry. And notice they're a little bit shorter. We have some longer ones as well. But even if you stick your hand down in the water and water comes over top of these and goes down in your hands will stay warm. They're awesome. I love these things. I've actually worked on a waterfall before, ice in the waterfall with these gloves. For 5 or 10 minutes, my hands are completely warm. The rest of my body's cold, but these are completely warm. These are neoprene insulated. These are going to do the job if you just need to pull leaves out, clean the skimmer, whatever. But again, big fan of the Glacier gloves. I keep a pair in my truck all the time. Alrighty, I think that wraps up our fall and winter maintenance seminar. Okay, if you guys have any questions for us, post them on our website, post them on our Facebook page. We'll be happy to answer your questions. If you have questions about your pond, post some pictures of your pond on the Facebook page, email them to us, call us. If you want to get on our fall netting and maintenance schedule, now's the time to do it. We're booked, like I said, we only have 20 or 30 calls right now, but we will book out start booking into November really quickly. And at some point, we just have to cut it off because we have too many to do. So call in, even if you don't want it done until October, November, call in now, get on our schedule, say, hey, we want to get on your schedule, take a deposit, and you'll be on our schedule. If we run out of room, we run out of room. There's not much we can do about that. Right? All right. That's it. One last thing. I always have one last thing. If you have a fountainscape in your yard, something like this, if it's stone or rock, you can probably leave it running, but you're going to want to watch because the ice will form up in the basin and actually freeze up and cause it to go dry. Most of the time, you can just unplug those things. If you're not sure, or if you have an urn, a ceramic urn, or any type of aqua bowl or any type of water feature that sits on top of the patio, you have to get those emptied out, turn them over, and make sure they don't freeze and crack on you. That was the last thing. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have stuck with us. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, you're rewatching again, just give us a call. Be happy to help any way we can. Good luck this winter, and hopefully it's not near as cold as it was last year.
We can hope.
Yeah, we can hope. But
Are you looking at the woolly worms?
they're all black, right?
They're all black.
Yeah, that's bad. All black woolly worms need to get a pond de-icer now. We sold out of them last year. We
did
couldn't
sell
get
them,
more.
We couldn't get more, so there was
Yeah,
there was
a lot of
some
people
people
waited.
buying.
A lot of people waited till January when it got really cold to call us for de-icers. We didn't have any. We tried to order more. We couldn't order more. They were out everywhere. So plan ahead. Have the stuff available for when it does get cold. You're not rushing around. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Thanks.